gigs Champions World Class Soccer. It's a football or soccer game, as some will call it, which was released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System as well as on the Mega Drive. It was developed by Park Place Productions and published by Acclaim. You might not have heard of Park Place Productions largely because they were a bit of a bright light that burnt out very quickly. They were founded in 1989 and by 1993 they had become the largest independent developer of computer games. They had 130 developers making 45 games for 14 different publishers. At the end of December 1993, the company collapsed spectacularly. Basically, they didn't hit some targets they'd been set by publishers, and as a result of this, they were denied payments, pulled out of contracts, and this literally left Park Place Productions up the creek without a paddle. The first thing to note is that the whole Ryan Giggs thing is a bit of a con. The British release featured a picture of the player on the game box and the cartridge label, but any real connection to the guy or inclusion of his name ends there. The German version featured a player famous to them, Sepp Maier, if I'm saying that right, and the French featured a player who was likely to interest them, Paris Saint-Germain. None of the three have anything to do with the game beyond the box art and cartridge label though, so from now on, sod gigs, I'll be referring to this as Champions World Class Soccer. Modes of play included in the game are the standard types, exhibition match and tournament mode. There are obvious options to turn certain things off and mess with how long the matches last, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. The game's presentation is pretty decent. There's a TV announcer talking about the match before it starts, talking as in text along the bottom of the screen, but the text is pretty cool. It mentions which team you are and what is good or bad about you. For example, I got something on the lines of the following for my first match. England have always been good at defence, but their shooting record is a little unpredictable. The in-game graphics are pretty much the bog-standard average football graphics from this point in time, so I don't have a lot to say about them, and they don't make or break the game. I like the fact there's a big blue star around the character you're in control of. It makes it very easy to know who you are, and then there's a button which seems to exist just to help you do little tricks, either dribbling the ball around your feet, turning backwards for a second, or shooting forward quickly. Well, quickly for this game. Unfortunately, this is the point at which my review has to get a little bit sour. I'm afraid that personally, I feel the gameplay is bad. The game's slow, both the passing and shooting are hard and frustrating, to the point you'll soon find yourself turning the air blue. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for your character to become properly attached to the ball like you do in most football games. You'll have ran onto the ball and it just won't end up under your control, so you'll be running backwards and forwards hoping it attaches to you, and then a computer control player will just run straight up and claim it with no problem or pause in the proceedings. In my honest opinion, this is the worst SNES football game that I've played during my reviewing process. I like the TV at the start, I like the fact it makes it obvious who you are, but I don't really like the controls or the gameplay. It also didn't give me any of my demands, such as great goal scoring animations or a voice shouting goal. I'd give this game 4 out of 10. It's not unplayable, but there are much better games out there for your cash. If you decide you simply need this game to live, the good point is that it'll only cost you £4 to £5 to buy it online and get it posted to you. It's a very cheap game, but personally, part of that's because it's a football game and they don't tend to hold high prices. But the other part is because it's one of the weaker football games on the system. Okay, thank you.